Why, hello, long time no see. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. In today's video, I want to talk about my favorite topic, which I assume is everybody else's favorite topic, and that is death. No, it's not everybody's favorite topic. No, I know, but that's why I want to talk about it today. Because when people find out that I study death history, they usually react in like one of two ways. And the first one is that they find it super morbid, which is fair enough. And the other is that they think it's fascinating. And it is both at the same time. But the thing is that I don't actually study death because I'm interested in dead people in general. I actually study death more because I'm interested in the living. Death rituals tell us everything about a society. They tell us who mattered, who was mourned publicly, who was denied dignity, what people feared, what they believe happened after death, what they thought made a good life. And it's really strange, but the closer you look at death, the more you understand life. And that's what led me to studying it as a historical topic. Now, for a little bit of background, my interest in death started unusually early, and it was not an interest at first. So when I was about 6 years old, my dad took me and my cousin to the Museum of Civilizations in Quebec City. Shout out, excellent museum, you should go. And I was about 6 years old. We had seen all of the permanent exhibitions, and there was a traveling exhibition called Autopsy of a Murder. And now I'm 6 years old, and at that age, you have heard about death, but it's still very abstract in your head, right? You know that it might mean some form of finality, but you're not sure what that means. But you know, nothing too concrete, unless you know you've had some experiences that gave you further knowledge. But for me, I still had a very abstract understanding of death. And so we go to the exhibition Autopsy of a Murder, and we enter two double doors, and there's this like true crime-esque sort of informational video about the exhibition that says that a young woman was murdered in her apartment, and the goal of the exhibition is to do some forensic science stuff to figure out who the killer is. Fascinating. However, I'm hearing the word murder for the first time, and I'm being told of the concept of a violent death for the first time. And to my little 6-year-old soul, I was like, no. And I told my dad, I was like, I do not want to go further. I'm scared. But dad said that we were going. And so two more double doors open, and there is a recreation of the crime scene right in my face, complete with fake blood spatter, a fake knife with fake blood on it, and a mannequin in a body bag to simulate a dead body. And I immediately had a panic attack. My dad had to drag me across the exhibition, eyes closed, crying. And for several months and weeks after that, I had severe insomnia and night terrors, and I had to see therapists and sort of pace through my fear, if you will. And really for years after that, just a mention of death would send me into a spiral. I would get cold chills just driving in front of a cemetery, just absolute terror at the concept of death, until I kind of flipped that back on its head. So I was genuinely traumatized for months afterwards, and I became obsessed with death in a really stupidly, like constantly anxious way, and I couldn't stop talking about dying and about bodies and about funerals. But looking back now, I think that I experienced something really early on, is that humans don't just experience death in a biological way, we ritualize it. You know, we sing, we gather, we wear specific clothing, we preserve objects, we build monuments, visit graves, create traditions around mourning. We investigate violent deaths in a really thorough way because we care about justice to the wrongs that were done to a person that was deceased. And what this tells me is that every single one of those things, of those elements, tells us something about the culture that created it. And that's what led me into the historical topic of death studies. So I think people assume death history is niche because they associate it with things like horror or true crime or morbidity, which it can be, you know. But I think that most historians who study death, and that includes me, do so because death exposes the structure of society in an incredibly clear way. For example, who gets a super grand funeral, who gets buried anonymously, who is remembered in monuments, whose deaths are ignored, whose deaths become political. You can learn just an enormous amount about gender and race and class and religion and capitalism and medicine and urban planning just by looking at how societies treat their dead. Victorian mourning culture tells us about industrialization and class performance. Medieval plague burials tell us about social collapse and religious fear. Modern funerals tell us about things like individualism and medicalization and commercialization. So death history is history. It is social history. And honestly, I think that modern society has a really strange relationship with death because like I said, we've medicalized it, we've institutionalized it, it's been hidden away. Most people today will never see a dead body. Most won't participate directly in caring for their dead anymore. Death has become something that is sanitized and distant, but historically, death was a community event. People died at home, families prepared the bodies themselves, children were exposed to mourning rituals very early, and I think that losing these rituals and that proximity to the deceased has really changed the way that we process grief, and I'm of the opinion that not for the better, but that can be for another video. That's actually like part of why my own research focuses on. I focus on Black women's roles in death care and death work during slavery across the Atlantic world, and eventually my topic will lead me to like post-slavery roles in death care and death work. And the reason why I study that is because in my research I found that even under systems that were specifically designed to dehumanize people, funeral rituals remained incredibly important. Women preserved songs, mourning practices, burial customs, kinship traditions. One of the most incredible examples I've come across in my research, for example, is a funeral song from Sierra Leone that survived the Middle Passage and survived centuries in Gullah communities in the American South, in South Carolina, for example. And so we have a funeral song that survived the Middle Passage and that is still being sung at funerals across the ocean centuries later. And that, to me, is like one of the most vivid examples of why my research is relevant. Because ultimately, I think that that's why death history affects people so deeply, because at its core, it's about memory and it's about what survives people. And the fear of being forgotten is one of the most human fears imaginable. People want to leave their trace on earth. People don't want to be forgotten after they die. And funerary rituals are humanity's attempt to resist that forgetting. And that's why cemeteries are so interesting to me, for example. They're not just places where bodies are buried, they're archives. Archives of love and grief and social values and inequality and religion and family. You can walk through a cemetery and literally watch history materialize in stone. So no, I don't study death because I'm obsessed with morbidity. I study death because death reveals what people value the most. And if you really want to understand a society, you gotta look at how it treats its dead. Thank you so much for watching this short-ish ramble on death. What do you think about death? Do you think that, is this a topic that scares you? Is it of interest to you? Do you perhaps study a niche topic that a lot of people are, a little confused about at first? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this one. If you made it this far, why don't you leave me an emoji in the comments? Leave me a coffin emoji in the comments. I think that'll be right on theme. Anyways, please leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and all of my other social media to connect, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye bye!